Hey guys, welcome into another episode of 410 Sports Talk. James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin. I tell you what, Glenn, it is the off season, but the news never stops. Never, ever. The NFL is alive and well. While there's only 2 teams left in this year, in this season, everyone else is already looking ahead. The speculation is swirling, and we're going to get into a new name that's been linked to the Ravens. But before we do, we want to give you guys a second. Hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications, give us a like, leave your comments so we can interact with you guys. And if you want to interact further with us and get more content from us, check out our Patreon in the description below. But Glenn, who is the new name that has been linked to your Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah, it's a recent article out of Sports Illustrated written by Todd Karpovich is saying that J.J. Watt is linked to the Ravens after Anthony Weaver was hired as the defensive line coach. Of course, Anthony Weaver coming over from Houston, where he was the defensive coordinator, and I believe previously the D-line coach, if I remember correctly. But nonetheless, it sounds like he has some interest in coming to Baltimore. Now, we know that his brothers play in this division, both of them being on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, but I don't think that's quite an option when you look at their cap situation, especially if they have hopes on bringing Big Ben back. So it looks like this may be the closest option because at least he gets to play against them twice a year. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of exciting. Now, when people first hear J.J. Watt, they remember his old days, but I think a lot of fans are sleeping on JJ and what he is right now because of the Texans being just a 4-win team and their defense really not performing well last year. But you have some interesting stuff in front of you talking about that he's still a pretty darn good player, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to think because we say this about Lamar. He's almost a victim of his own success. To where, JJ, he's not in the prime of his career. He's not a 3-time defensive player of the year and things like that, but he's still highly efficient and really skilled at his position. So to back that up, I mean, a couple of cool stats here. As far as the highest run stop rate as an edge rusher, J.J. Watt is still 6th in the NFL. So that's just, and that we know that the Ravens don't tolerate guys that just get to the quarterback. You need to be able to stop the run. So that's huge.
And were there any other Ravens on that top 10 list, Jimmy?
No.
Okay, so he would instantly be, according to this, the best edge defender on our team, right? I mean, according to as far as his win rate.
Right, and then it goes even further than that because the highest pass rush win, so not referring to the run, defending the run, but getting to the quarterback, which is what these guys, a lot of what they're paid for. There are 2 Watts on the list. Of course, his brother's number 1, but JJ is still in the top 10 at number 8. 22% of the time he wins his battle up front and is able to apply pressure to the quarterback. And like you said, Glenn, just to back it up here, there's no one from Baltimore on that list. And I'm going to go even further here. Not that he's not in the defensive tackle category, but there's no one from Baltimore in the defensive tackle category either. Right. in top 10 of either of those lists, whether it's run stopping or getting to the pass rush. So it's not even just our edge. It would also, it'd be our entire defensive line. I'm not saying that Calais is obviously a, Hall of Famer. Brandon Williams is a great player, but man, it would be awesome. I mean, at least I think I'd be interested to get your opinion. I think it'd be great to add a guy like a J.J. Watt to this team.
Well, especially when you think that when we just, did a video recently about the 2 outside linebackers that a lot of fans are hoping they bring back, at least one of them, and being Matt Judon and Yannick Ngakoue. And both of those are expected to get $15 million per year and a pretty, lengthy contract extension. Both these guys are hitting their first big contract, whereas J.J. Watt has already had the big payday, and it appears as if he's looking for a team that he can win a championship with. And he knows that that's not going to happen in Houston, certainly not if Deshaun Watson's on his way out the door. But so I think that if you're not able to get one of those 2 guys back, or even if you can get JJ for $7 or $8 million for a 1-year deal, or even you stretch it out to 2, but only eight of it's guaranteed, then you're talking about you may have won, you may have be able to pay half the price and get a better player just for a 1 year. Those guys are still in the upswing, and obviously right. JJ's on the down, but where they are right now today, or as of last year, JJ performed better than them. And not only, you mentioned all those win rates, but I remember, I don't have the stat in front of me. I was trying to find it, but towards the end of the season, he was still the highest double-teamed edge defender in the National Football League. No matter across the board. So he's still commanding the attention of the opposing offense. So anytime you can bring a guy in that changes the game plan of the offensive coordinator, I mean, that's that's a win. So, man, I mean, I think I'd be happy to see him because I honestly, I don't think he's going to cost nearly the price because he wants to win. He's a great locker room guy, obviously one of the best community guys in the league. When you look at what he did for the Houston area, certainly during the Hurricanes, I don't see really many negatives in this. He's familiar with his D-line coach, has a good relationship with Anthony Weaver. It seemed like it would be a perfect fit, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And just like, to back up your point here, his stat line last year was nothing to shake a stick at. For all of you that have been around since the 1940s and are familiar with that saying. But something interesting. He had 52 total tackles, 16 assisted, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception and a touchdown.
And that's surrounded by way worse talent than he's going to be when he gets to Baltimore, which should allow him more freedom, less opportunities to be double teamed. I mean, I think this will be a no-brainer if they can get him for the right price.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that bodes well for him is that you've talked about this before in the past, is that it seems to be that our edge guys, once again, they have to be able to stop the run, but the guys that have the most success here aren't like the speedsters. They have to have size to them. Like Terrell Suggs was a huge man. I mean, Giant. He still is obviously a gigantic man. And, I don't even know if JJ is quite that big. They're probably about the same size, consider them about the same size. Yeah, but that physical profile to me is also something to me, at least, to draw a comparison to and say, okay, we've had a guy built like this, that plays like this, constructed like this, done well in our offense. In our defense. We can plug and play. And like you said, the market value of those two guys combined, it's $15 million each. So combined $30 million. Like you said, if you get JJ for 8,
you know what I'm saying? And then we know that the cap is going to be much lower than anyone was expecting. We still don't know the figure, but if you do get him for half the price of one of those other two guys, it gives you more flexibility to go attack another position group. I mean, we talk about how much we'd like to see some more money put into the offensive side of the ball, which I think a lot of fans would agree. Well, if you don't have to give 15 to a pass rusher who still doesn't get double-digit sacks, and you can get JJ for a much lower price, I mean, I think it makes too much sense.
And sorry to cut you off there, but if you bring in a guy like JJ around that price, and you still have some room to, okay, maybe Judon and Ngakoue walk, but what if at that point you can still sign a guy like McPhee back? You can sign a guy like Tyus Bowser back, who aren't as hot in the market at that position. We can bring those guys back, and so you still keep some semblance of depth there while you're losing those two guys. I think that JJ would be a serious gain for this defense. Another man of the year.
I mean, this is the type of guy the Ravens love to bring in. A veteran that. I mean, look at Anquan Bolden, man of the year. Calais Campbell, man of the year. Like, these are guys the Ravens bring in from other teams. You gotta fit the culture, and you got to be a good player. And obviously he checks both of those boxes. So I would be absolutely thrilled if they can find a way. And what better place for JJ, if you can't play with your brothers, than just at least play against them twice a year.
Yeah. I mean, he'll get to take part in the rivalry.
And he's so close to Pittsburgh. It's not like he's all the way in Houston. I mean, he's not that far away. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I agree with the article. I think that
and he can be on the team that's trending up, not the team that's potentially trending the wrong way.
And maybe going towards quarterback purgatory. If they can't, scrape Big Ben up, and get him back on the field in 21. But let us know what you guys think. If you would welcome JJ in as a Raven, if you think that maybe I hear some people say he's past his prime. I mean, I think the stuff we just read may suggest otherwise, but let us know if that's what your thoughts are, and we'll talk soon.
See ya.